Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and we have something very cool to take a look at today, like usual. This time we are actually going to check out another Nanmu model, but this one's been out for quite some time, and it's also the very first one of this type that I've had the opportunity to enter into my collection. This is one of their dinosaur busts, and quite clearly, it is the Tyrannosaurus Rex bust. I was actually able to acquire this thanks to my good friend Jimmy, who was selling off a lot of his collection recently, and at this point I would imagine that you've probably noticed that I was able to acquire a lot of really cool stuff thanks to him, because there have been a lot of reviews that have popped up here in the last couple of months that were responsible to him selling off his collection. So a huge thank you goes out to him for giving me this really cool T-Rex piece here at a good price that I was able to pick it up, and now have a chance to actually look at it with you guys, because again, I've been wanting one of these busts from Nanmu for a while to just get an idea of what they're like, what they're all about, and thankfully we now have an opportunity to take a look at the actual T-Rex bust here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get a closer look right now.
So the bust itself actually comes off of the base, which is nice because it makes it a little easier to take a look at here. But what we can see as far as the Rex goes is a really nice, very faithful sculpt, obviously very reminiscent to Jurassic Park and the Tyrannosaurus Rex from that film. And I think that just like their regular standard-sized models go, they've done a fantastic job on the overall detailing of this Rex bust. It is just gorgeous, as well as the paintwork itself is just phenomenal in every area that you look at it. Like, it is really well done as far as both the sculpt and paint aspect goes. If you get nice and close, you can see how insanely nice looking the detailing there is around the eye, as well as the eye paint itself. Very nice small black pupil in there with a beautiful yellowish coloration. It does have a bit of a glossy look, so it shines very realistically. And one thing that's very cool to see on this model that I noticed right away, one of the very cool things that I was able to pick up on, is the fact that it actually has a scar up here on the snout. And that's not something you often see, displayed on female tyrannosaurs from Jurassic Park, but it's obviously something that you would imagine would occur. We see them more often on males, and this time it's actually shown up here on a female Tyrannosaurus. However, again, you can see that that's actually painted quite nicely with a pinkish coloration and looks really good, very legitimate as far as an actual injury goes. You can see the nostrils are sculpted out up here at the tip of the snout. They're very nicely darkened actually around the nostrils as well to highlight that area. And you can see again that as far as the actual tones of color and the paintwork applied by Nanmu, this is just gorgeous. It's so spot on to a female Jurassic Park style Tyrannosaurus as far as the actual paintwork goes. It is honestly far and beyond better than what I would have expected getting one of these. And another area that I really like would be the teeth. First of all, you can see the teeth have a very nice realistic shine to them, but the actual paintwork of the teeth look insanely beautiful. They're not that translucent type of a look like you see on a lot of their actual models. This time it's actual paintwork, but you can see that they've been painted with different tones of color, giving them such a very realistic coloration to them. There's a very nice off-white that they've used primarily as the coloration of the teeth, but then kind of dry brushed, it's almost like a dirty appearance of a brown over the teeth. So it obviously looks like our Rex is not brushing its teeth, which it clearly would not be doing. You can see the inside of the mouth, especially over here in the skin flap area, also has some really nice detailing to it. Very nice glossy look, as well as a beautiful coloration in there. And then if we take a look inside the mouth, you can see the tongue inside the mouth right there. It definitely looks very dark back there in the inside of a Tyrannosaur's mouth, which is somewhere I would not personally want to go, but you can see as we kind of shed some light on the inside of the mouth that the upper side of the inside of the mouth is extremely highly detailed, as well as beautifully painted, so it looks incredibly nice. I'm curious how nice it looks way back there in the throat, but it's hard to get back there with the shadows, but it does look really quite nice, and that's quite an intimidating scene right there with a Tyrannosaurus staring you down. We do have some more injuries over here, kind of like we had seen on the previous slide, but they're back here in the neck region, so you can see some nice scratches that run up along the neck into the lower jaw right here, and those as well are again painted really beautifully, very realistically, with tones of pinks and purples. It seems there's actually quite a few different tones of color included in there, But again, the sculpting and detailing aspect of the head sculpt is insanely well done over here. Like, such beautiful, vibrant scale detail, and the paintwork is all very nice and very naturally applied, so it looks like actual body color, not just paint on a model. Very nicely done as far as like a mass-produced figure goes, and you can see the upper side of the Rex looks beautiful from a detailing and paintwork standpoint, as well as the underside also looks extremely nice. So this is just absolutely phenomenal, and again, much better than I expected it to be, even at a smaller size. Like, you can see, I can hold the bust here in my hand, but it's still insanely well done for its size. And then the actual base that comes with it is this really cool, almost like an old building concrete type of a look with like all kinds of cracks and stuff. It looks very Jurassic Park-ish. I will say that I really like that they've done this and created a base like this, and it looks so realistic. Like, it's beautifully weathered as far as the paintwork goes, not just the sculpting and detailing aspect. It looks insanely realistic no matter which side you look at it. Again, the paintwork is so realistic on the model that it genuinely almost looks like a shrunken down monument that would have been in Jurassic Park or something like that. And one of the really cool aspects of this, you're probably looking at it thinking, like, how do you actually connect the Rex to the little base area that holds it? And that's the fact that there's a magnet in here. So once you actually put it up there, you can see how it just pulled it right on there. Boom, pops right on, sits there perfectly. You can see I can hold it up and everything, and there's no weakness to the magnet. It's not falling off. It sits there perfectly. And the Nanmu line actually has an entire line of busts just like this, with dinosaurs from everything from the Spinosaurus to the Carnotaurus to the Allosaurus, and they all look insanely beautiful. I would actually love to get all of those included in my collection as well, but one step at a time. We now have the Rex, so that is a huge plus, and this is, again, so much better than I ever expected it to be. Absolutely gorgeous work, as usual, on the part of Nanmu.
As far as a size for our bust, for a length from the back of this area up here to the front of the snout of the Rex, you were looking at about 3 3/4 inches, or around the 9.5 centimeter range. And then if we go for a height to the top of the Tyrannosaurus's head here, you were looking at about closing in, I would say, on 4.5 inches, or around the 11, maybe closing in on 11.5 centimeter mark, something like that. So again, on the smaller side, but absolutely gorgeous for its size. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line in comparison to our Nanmu Tyrannosaurus bust. And I will say that that bust outshines everything that I see before me. It is just so gorgeous overall, but also helping to give you a really good size as far as these models go. And definitely something that I think is a really cool display piece, even in comparison to like the Mattel figures. Like, if you created some sort of like a Jurassic Park building or something like that, and you wanted to have like a really cool statue in there, these Nanmu busts honestly look like they belong, and it would be, again, something that's cool as far as like displaying it goes. But even just having it out in your collection, just sitting there, it is an absolutely phenomenal looking piece from Nanmu. So this Nanmu Tyrannosaurus Rex bust is an absolute win on the part of Nanmu, and it's really cool to finally have one of these here in my collection, but also to take a look at with you guys, because I've really wanted to get a review up of one of these ever since I saw the initial, like that Indominus Berserker Rex bust that they had out. I've always wanted to get a hold of one ever since then. So when my good friend Jimmy was selling off his collection, and he did mention that he had, the Tyrannosaurus bust, I was like, yes, I absolutely want that, because I've been wanting one for a while. And again, at a bit of a cheaper rate, to pick one up was definitely a plus, which is obviously what persuaded me into grabbing it. But even at the price tag that these usually are, which is like $40 to $50, I would say it's still definitely worth it, and a really nice collector's piece overall, with a very highly detailed Tyrannosaurus Rex head sculpt and bust. And it's just as highly detailed, or maybe even more highly detailed, than your usual Nanmu models. And that's really saying something, because Nanmu never skimps out in the detailing department, so that just tells you how beautiful this bust is in person. The paintwork as well is insanely impressive, which is something that is also quite common when it comes to a Nanmu model, especially on the actual Tyrannosaurus model they had released. The paintwork on that was phenomenally well done, but that carries over here with the bust as well. This is just as beautiful again, if not maybe more beautiful. It's just an insanely good paint job on this, looking just like a Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus does, design and tones of color wise. And considering this is again a mass-produced factory painted piece, it is very impressive overall. The base is really nice as well, again sporting that almost Jurassic Park sort of like a statue type of a look, and really completes the overall scene with all of the cracks and incredibly realistic paintwork. It just has that really nice weathered look, and overall is extremely realistic, just like the Tyrannosaurus bust itself is. So again, there are tons of really cool busts that Nanmu has to offer, not just this Rex. So if you are interested in purchasing one of these, I will include a link in the description to Aliexpress, because I feel like that's probably the best place to get these at probably the most affordable rate. And again, if you are interested in these style busts from Nanmu, there are numerous different species included in this busts line, and I'm pretty sure all of which or most of which you can find on Aliexpress if you just search around a little bit. So make sure you check the link in the description, pick up this fantastic Nanmu Tyrannosaurus Rex bust, and make sure you also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.